Hey friends, in today's video, I'm going to show you another money-saving hack for the garden by using recycled materials to create free raised beds. And I'll also share my secret to creating the perfect soil. Let's jump right in. So today I am going to get my potatoes planted, and I'm starting out by clearing the space I'd like to use. What you're seeing here is mostly the dead plants from last year's garden that I'm ripping out, but there are also some weeds mixed in with them as well. A lot of people like to pull everything out of the garden at the end of the fall harvest, but I don't do that, and I will get into the reason for that later in this video. For now, I'm just ripping everything out to uncover the soil beneath it. I use straw to mulch around my plants, so I'm grabbing a rake to rake the straw over to the side while I'm working in the soil, but I am going to reuse this straw after I get the potatoes planted. And now I'm using a shovel to turn over the soil to break up the roots of the weeds that had started growing, and just to make sure the soil is nice and loose before I put the potatoes in. When you're planting anything, whether it be a started plant or seeds, you always want to make sure that the soil around it is loose so that the roots of the plant can grow easily and extend easily. A strong root system will give it the best chance of survival.
Guys, this soil is amazing. It is dark, loose, moist, rich. This is just the perfect soil, and this is why I leave all of the weeds and everything just in the garden all winter, because it covers the soil. Those weeds and last year's plants, they decompose, they put nitrogen into the soil. The straw that I use as mulch adds the carbon to the soil. So ultimately, you're creating your own compost when you do it that way. And this is just the most phenomenal soil. I'm so excited about this. We're gonna have some amazing crops this year. And I'm also careful not to step on it. I jump over the rows instead of stepping through them, and that helps to keep it loose and soft and easy to work with when you're planting. So I am super excited. These little things, you can leave them in there. It's extra nitrogen if you want. I'm gonna throw them to my chickens because they're over there whining at me. They want more snacks. So I'll save those for my chickens. They love them. But I'm gonna work in small groups here. I was gonna clear this whole row and then do all the potatoes at once, but it's a really sunny day and I don't want the soil to dry out while I'm working. So I'm gonna do small batches. We'll just get the first box of potatoes planted now.
So as you can see, I'm just breaking down these boxes, and I'm going to cut off the flaps on the top, but you want to leave the flaps on the bottom attached, and I'll show you why in a minute. You'll want to fold the bottom flaps out so you just have an open hole at the bottom of the box. I use black plastic sheeting in between my garden rows to keep the weeds down, so I am tucking 2 of the flaps underneath that sheeting and placing some weight on it. I have a T-post and a concrete block that I'm using for the weights on this one, but you can use whatever you have handy. You could even just fill an old milk jug or juice bottle with water and use that for a weight if you don't have anything else. There's no need to buy anything fancy. And I am burying the potatoes completely in the soil and then covering the soil with straw. But I will be covering the plant as it grows with more straw and goat manure instead of soil. This makes harvesting super easy, and my potatoes did amazing last year using that system. The first layer of straw that you saw me put down was just plain straw, but I decided to go back and add a scoop of goat manure to mix into it for extra nutrients. And now I'm going to bury the 2 flaps on the sides of the box that are in the actual garden row under a decent amount of soil. This will help to hold the box in place when it gets windy. And then when I place the next box beside it, I'll make sure to overlap those flaps so I don't lose as much growing space in between the boxes.
All right, so there we have it. That is our first box of potatoes planted. If you don't have the money in the budget right now to buy something, this is such an easy way to make a makeshift raised bed. You can just use cardboard. It may or may not disintegrate, but if it does, it turns into mulch and it's all good. And this is something, it's obviously not permanent, but this is for a temporary solution, especially if you're going to be rotating your crops like I do. I move them from one place to another every year just to diversify the soil and to help prevent disease and bugs and things like that. But this was super easy. I have 4 potato plants in there. I was able to fit 4 in each box. So I'm just gonna do the same thing that I did here. I'm gonna keep putting boxes down the row until I have as many potatoes as I want to plant. And that will be my potato patch for this year. I did end up going back and putting a 5th potato right in the middle there so that I can have 20 total. I did 4 boxes, 5 in each box. And so this is what the finished product looks like. Now I was careful to bury the flaps in soil to help them not blow away, and then put some weight on the side flaps as well. But this is what we've got. We got 4 raised beds made completely out of reused cardboard boxes. Now, as the potatoes grow, once the green parts come up about 6 inches, you can bury them up to leave about 2 inches above the soil level. I'm gonna continue to put this bedding from the goat pen, so it is straw mixed with their manure. That's what I bury the potatoes in. And last year I had so many huge potatoes, including sweet potatoes as well, that I actually didn't get a chance to harvest them all before the ground froze solid and I couldn't get to them. So that was a huge blessing to have that much food. But this year I definitely want to be more intentional about harvesting them all before the ground freezes so that I can actually enjoy what I planted. But anyways, so this is a super easy, simple way to create a raised bed if you don't have one. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. We'll see you in the next one. God bless.